warmer in here, though.
Yeah, it's pretty brisk outside.
What did you see out of the defense from? He talked about the adjustments from the first couple drives and getting a lot of things cleaned up.
Yeah, obviously the beginning of the game, the first two drives is obviously not how you want to start a game. So that leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. But the adjustments we made on the sideline, and going from there, I think it was one touchdown over the next 8 drives, was really, really good. By the guys that get settled in the heat of the moment, that's what you want to be able to do, because there's going to be games that's like that. So to see those guys be able to do it and take the coaching on the sideline was really good.
You have to settle in too yourself after drives like that?
No, just making sure that I keep my composure. The last thing I need to go over there is, throwing benches and Gatorade coolers. That's not going to be really a really good look. So just keep my composure. If I'm pretty composed, I can keep them composed, and we can push forward there.
How many times have you been tempted to throw a bench or Gatorade?
Anytime there's a bad play. It's in my nature. Having kids has really helped me calm myself.
With the amount of rushing yards that's been allowed in the last few games, how much of that does come down to a bad play versus you do have to make kind of a whole-scale scheme adjustment?
Sometimes it's scheme. The other time, a vast majority of the time when you're playing the run game, the challenge is doing right play after play. And it's never easy. It's the grind it out, putting your hands on people, knocking back. What is my assignment? Where, the gap I need to be in. Guys playing off of each other, whether it's a linebacker, a safety, or a corner that's to fit in on the edge of doing it. And it's repetitive. When you have to do that, it's a challenge to do that, but you have to do it play after play after play. Where you get the benefit is when you stop it early and you see, 20 carries a game, you're fine. But when teams start getting in 28, 30, 32, 34, 36 carries a game, those things can be challenging to fit correctly play after play after play. But it has to get done, because that's what we've been seeing. We will continue to see. I believe Carolina's got roughly almost 100 carries in the last 2 games. So, credit to them. And it's a challenge to us that we need, that we need to see, and we got to be better at and be prepared for, which we will. We started that today. So, but that's the stuff with the run game that comes with it. That's why Pete loves it, because truth be told, it's you challenge people when you do that, So.
You mentioned Carolina. They put up a lot of numbers in recent weeks. What did they do well in the run game?
Starts up front. They're physical on the offensive line. In my opinion, best coach, most physical group that we've seen so far this year. The way they're getting after people, and I know obviously, you may look at records and all those kinds of things, but you got to look when you put on the tape and you see where a team is and how they're performing. When it comes to running the football, they're doing that really well. Donta Foreman and the young kid Hubbard, I always screw up his first name, but Hubbard, they're both really good backs that run downhill. They run behind their pads, good contact balance, and again, they stay committed to it. So, and they've had multitude of quarterbacks that have played, but the running game has been physical and consistent. So, kudos to them on that.
How have you felt your interior defensive line has played the last few weeks?
There's been times that they play play good, and then other plays that they would like to have back. It's just the consistency of things, and that's what happens to get you. It's like you go into a game and you give up 150 yards rushing. It's like, that's horrible. It's not what you want. And you go back and you look, okay, there's a 40-yard explosive in there, and there's a 15-yard explosive, and that's 55 yards of the, whatever they got for the day. And those ones where you say, well, if they didn't get that, well, they did. So you got to count those in. So it's like you're playing a lot of things good and correctly, and then all of a sudden you get a couple plays that get out and they get away from you. And again, that goes back to the consistency I was talking about, where we want to be better. So to answer your question, there's been really good downs, and there's been downs that obviously we want to be better.
Tariq got his 6th pick. What do you see out of him? Kind of
It's been pretty special to watch him work and mature and grow into the position, and to see his confidence grow. Like I said, the kid's got a world of talent. It's unbelievable, and we're lucky to have him. But to see him full circle, his ability to challenge people at the line of scrimmage, recognizing routes, recognizing splits, and even he's getting to the point where he knows. I think I made mention before, it's not a lot of people that can run by him, so he can bait some people into some throws, and his confidence and whatnot being there has been really, really special. The ability to high point the football, come back and challenge on throws, and not have to make contact with the receiver coming out and poking the football. I can go on and on about how well he's doing, but the kid is a special talent.
The play down the sideline where he had 5 yards plus on him, and then he just catches out that switch. How impressive is that physically to do that?
There's not a lot of people. There's not a lot of people in the world that can do that. So, I mean, it speaks to him. Only thing I have a conversation with him about is there's other people that can run too. You'll probably run them down, but let's not run out of real estate. So, let's got to make sure we don't do that too often.
You mentioned today about
how during like 11-on-11 during practice, Sean Mannion will throw Tariq a ball.
Yes.
So how did that start, and what do you think Tariq gets out of that?
So, funny point. When we first got here, and rookie mini camp and going through OTAs and whatnot, he couldn't catch a cold in Alaska. It was rough. So he was dropping everything, and I'm sitting there looking at the film like, this damn guy has stone hands. So I was messing with him every day. But the thing about him, so he sees Marquise Goodwin and the receivers out here, and they're hitting the tennis balls off the wall. So he just joins in on that. And then he sees guys on the jugs machine start catching balls off the jugs. And then the quarterback's throwing him the football, and then he's come full circle. So the work ethic, it's not just the talent, but it's the work ethic. Obviously that's helping his development and putting it in. And obviously Carl Scott is doing a hell of a job with him as well. So now he's got great hands because he put in the time. He's put in the work at it.
What does that say?
Were you watching that minicamp film going like, you used to be a receiver, dude? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on here?
No, we say to him, now I know why they moved your ass over the damn defense. Yeah.
I was gonna say, what does that say about him that he would kind of willingly go do that?
Eager. Work will never fail you. If you're willing to put in the work, physically, mentally, the things you got to do to improve your overall game, it'll never let you down. And the kid's willing to do that. To see kids who are encouraged to do that, and sometimes it's the constructive criticism, how guys respond to it. Sometimes with some guys they take criticism, they go in the tank. They go down. He actually likes it. He feeds off it. He wants to be coached. He wants to be challenged. And he's responded in all the right ways when you do that. So he's a pleasure to coach. And so, again, that's why it doesn't surprise me to see his development and his growth. And I think he's only going to continue to get better. His future is about as bright as that light. So.
You talked about the physicality of the offensive line, but what about the characteristics of the team with a defensive coach who's now their interim head coach?
You know what? The one thing that you see is that they play hard, they play physical. The mentality that they've taken since Coach Wilkes has stepped in, obviously, any defensive coach, you want to run the football. When you run the football, as Pete likes to say, you enclose the circle of toughness with your football team. It's hard to say I'm a tough football team and I'm throwing the ball all over the lot. It's always going to be a physical game. It's one in the trenches. So you see that happen. He's going to complement the defense with a physical run game. And obviously that helps spell your defense too. So, again, that's what you recognize with them, that attitude, that mentality. But our players obviously recognize that as well when you watch them on tape.
What are the pros and cons of rotating Mike and Trey the way you have the last couple of weeks?
What I would say is, the pros is that, like I said, when you have multiple good players, and we have a lot of confidence in obviously the both of those guys, is to get them out, get them playing, and really for Trey, a lot of it is like knocking off the rust. And I would say is like maybe if anything, you're working through some of the things as he's getting back into the flow of football because he missed a lot of time. But still sticky and challenging routes. Some of the things you got to continue to work through as he's working his way back into the phase, and when's the right time to kind of do things and all that. But it's we have confidence in the both of those guys as they work their way through it.
The things that you wanted him to improve on after the Raiders game, did he improve on those?
Yeah, he's still getting – talking about Trey. Yeah, he's still getting comfortable with everything and coming out of his breaks and recognition, crack replacing routes and all those kinds of things. He's still coming along. So it's still early. So it's hard to give a lot of answers when the guy's kind of still working his way in it.
What do you see out of Jonathan Abram?
Willing learner, eager learner. He's been up here a lot. Spending time with K. Scott, so just getting in the defense. There's some stuff that he's familiar with that he's done in other systems, obviously with the Raiders and Green Bay in a short stint. So there's just seeing him learn stuff. He's got speed, he's got physicality to his play that we know off of tape. Obviously we haven't been in pads to be able to see him do that, but we know that's his style when he is out there. So again, be looking forward to seeing even more and more of him today. But today he got a good amount of work and he did a nice job.
In terms of playing the run and how he's done that, has Boye earned some more snaps going forward?
Yeah, it's just getting him out there more. He needs to play more than what he did last week, so that will happen. But he's Boye has still done. He's still done a nice job when he's been out there.
Doubled a lot. I think maybe more than he ever has. Are you seeing
Quentin
that?
Jefferson.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the interior guys, there is a lot of double teams right now. For the styles of runs that we're seeing, there's a lot of combination blocks on the interior D lineman. Comes with the territory.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, guys, take care.